So today I wanted to talk to you about different elements or aspects of books that stand out to me and attract me to a book. So when I see that a book includes one of these things, I'm automatically interested and willing to read it. So I kind of mashed together a bunch of different types of things in this video about some of my favorite tropes, as well as like settings and mythical creatures. Things that just pique my interest. So I hope that makes sense. Maybe it'll make sense once I start talking about everything. These are basically all the things that attract me to a book, regardless of reviews, regardless of other people's thoughts on the books. If I see that a book has these things, I want it. So I guess the first thing I'll talk about is a few settings. So if a book is set in Paris, I'm down. I love books set in Paris. I think it's because I just really want to go to Paris, and for me it's just kind of like a dream. I love the Eiffel Tower, but I just feel like really fun and exciting things happen there, especially if it's a historical fiction set in Paris that has fantastical elements. That's like my jam, and I feel like there are a lot of books like that out right now, a lot of books coming out this year, historical fantasies set in Paris, so I'm loving that for sure, and I want to read all of them. My other must-read setting is New Orleans. So I live in Louisiana, so if any book is set in New Orleans, I love it. New Orleans is such a unique city and it has its own magic. I love New Orleans and I love books set in New Orleans, so I'm always interested and down to read a book really set anywhere in Louisiana, but mostly New Orleans. So there are a few like mythical creatures that if they're in a book, I'm reading it. I love a book set around water and mermaids or sirens. I'll pretty much read anything that's about a mermaid or siren. I love it. I also love pirates. That's not really a mythical creature because pirates do exist, but you know, kind of like that maybe romanticized version of a pirate, although I'm cool for scary pirates too. I like that as well. I just love anything having to do with the water or the beach. If a town is set on the seaside or at the beach, I love it. The beach is like my second home. Really kind of is my second home because my parents live there. So I've kind of grown up at the beach and I'm always mesmerized by stories that take place near the water or on the water or under the water. This is kind of a classic one, maybe a little cliche, but I love vampire books. I haven't read one, I feel like, in a little while, but if a book is about a vampire, I want to read it. I love vampire stories. There is one coming out by Renee Audier and it has vampires and it's set in New Orleans, and I'm getting like Anne Rice vibes, and I need that book. It comes out later on in October. Combines so many things that I love. It's called The Beautiful and I am so ready for it. I'm ready for just vampires to make a comeback in general. And I'm also really down for some very cliche romance tropes. I love the forbidden love story. I love like a hate to love romance where they don't like each other at first and they're bickering and then they learn to love each other and it's kind of like a slow progression. I love it. And I also like love triangles. I know that's not a popular thing to like, but I like love triangles, especially when they're done well. I've definitely read love triangles that I didn't enjoy, but for the most part, if I see a book has a love triangle or if I hear around that a book has a love triangle, I'm gonna pick it up. Also, more of a general thing, I'm of course drawn to books that are retellings of stories that I love. I don't experience this a ton. One that comes to mind is My Plain Jane, which is a Jane Eyre retelling, and I love Jane Eyre. So if I ever see anything that's a Jane Eyre retelling, I'll pick it up. Recently, Sky Without Stars is coming out and it's a Les Mis retelling in space, which sounds so cool. So I'm down for that. I love Les Mis. There is one book, Roseblood, and it is a Phantom of the Opera retelling, and Phantom of the Opera is one of my favorite stories. Actually, I haven't read the book, but I love the movie and the musical. I love it so much. So if there's ever any Phantom of the Opera retellings, I'm down. I actually have not read Roseblood. I need to, but yeah, if there's ever anything like that, I'm down. So obviously I'm drawn to things that are retellings of my favorite stories. And this last thing is just kind of very general and vague, but any book that seems like it's gonna be kind of scary or a thriller. I love scary, creepy books. So any book that has one of these other elements I've mentioned, but also seems like it has like a scary factor to it or like more of a horror twist, I want it, I want to read it. I love stories that like give me the goosebumps or give me the chills. So yeah, I think those are all the things that I could think of off the top of my head that are selling points for books. Let me know in the comments if you agree with any of these. Also, what are your qualities of a book that automatically make you want to pick it up? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all soon. Bye.